Okay. Okay, folks, this is going to be a quick and easy little thing. I am restarting doing more cards to people. Now, I'm also on Blue Mountain, and I like to send out cards on Blue Mountain because you can reach a lot of people with a message in a very short time. And I think people just like to receive happy mail, whether it's online or it's in person. And it's so expensive with the post office right now. But I feel like now more than ever, the human touch is just so important between us and our friends. And so I wanted to just share a little quick thing. I'm not going to go through this whole stack creating them, but I wanted to show you something that I think is super easy. And you all who are veteran card makers will probably just find this hysterical that I think this is so cool, but I do. I've done this in the past, but this is, I wanted to just take a moment to do some bulk cards and nothing super fancy, because I just wanted to be able to get these out to people pretty soon. And so I followed a basic format by the lady who does, her name is Juli Baca of Sunny Day Stamping, and I think that she's a Stampin' Up person. And I love this little, I got this on April 17th as a blog post that she did, and it's called The Template Perfect for Pretty Papers. And I'm not going to show you her download because I feel like that's on her to do that. So, and I don't think this little thing here will show up, but you can see her. She does YouTube videos, and you can see her at sunnydaystamping.com, and I'll put that in the description whenever I edit the video. You can go there and then sign up for her free newsletter or, you know, other things that she offers there. And anyway, I like her designs because I find them easy to do, and they don't require a lot of fancy supplies, although you can get as fancy as you want. And so I just like to always encourage people to just go out and check out other artisan crafters that I just get inspired by. So this is from that little template, perfect for pretty papers. I'm gonna move this over here to the side. And basically what she said was to you're going to cut your cardstock, and this is I'm not going to give you the this sounds so awful. I'm not going to give you the measurements. This is basically just, you know, a little standard card. Probably, I don't know if it's an A4 or A5, whatever, but it's just a standard little card size. You know, it's an 8.5. Well, I'll tell you, it's an 8.5 by 5.5. And this is one we use a lot. You know, all of us have created with these. So that's what the basic is. Now, I'm not going to give you the dimensions on the other because I feel like people need to go and check out her website and get all the scoop for all of that. But let me get this. She has a layer section to create, and I just cut a bunch of these up that size, cut a bunch of my cards and folded them of that size. And then this is what she calls a focal point card. Oh, I don't know why I'm showing it to my other camera. A focal point card. So I just cut up a bunch of those. And again, I just went through actually a lot of my little cardstock places that were half used, and tried to clean out some of those. And then you know, where I have a lot of scraps, which I'm sure you do as well. And so I just got a lot of those out. Now, then she also puts a sentiment on there. And I'm going to talk about the sentiment when we get to it. That's the only thing that uses an actual little, what do you call this? Dimensional, to pop it up off the surface of your card. You wouldn't have to, but she uses that. And you could use this same exact layout, of course. You could tear your papers rather than doing this crisp cut. That would be fun. In fact, that's probably what I'll do in the future. You could use little die cuts that we all have a gazillion of, and those could be your focal layer or someplace where you put your sentiment, if you like. So like I have this little love this day, and I could very easily just use that with one of these as opposed to using my smaller one. So this could go here. This could go, that would go in the middle. Then this would go here. It'd be smaller than theirs, or you could add to it with another little focal point. Anyway, you get the gist. You don't have to cut out all these pieces. You can just use her design layout, which is pretty cool, and go from there. So like we could do this and this and this, and I could move this over here if I wanted to, or I could move it down here. I could even make this my sentiment. If I wanted to say thank you to someone, or if I'd gone on a little trip with someone, I love this day, and on the inside, put a photo of us on that day. And so there's just all kinds of fun ways that you can do this. And I wanted to say that primarily just going through the process of getting out your cardstock and making your cards, and then coming up with 2 other sizes of bits of ephemera would be a great way to do any kinds of cards. So I'm going to put one together here, and then I think that will be enough for you guys to totally get this particular idea. And again, I know that some people seeing this have done a mazillion different kinds of things like this, and this is not new to them. And I totally appreciate that. But for a lot of folks out there, they don't get to see things like this all the time, or they don't quite know where to look because they'd like to do it, but they're just not sure exactly how to do it. I'm going to move away from this green because it's not showing up properly on my camera. And I think this kind of purplish blue will do a little bit better. But anyway, this is, I just try to do things to introduce people to new things. And I know that for veterans that this is, this may be a yawn, but I just hope that those who are new or wanting to try something new will just be encouraged by this channel to do that. So with this blue, I have a lot of choices. I can use, if you want to get fancy and use a color wheel to help you out if you're not sure what kinds of colors you might like to put on there, or if you're very confident with your colors and you just want to go for it, you can just do that. I like color wheels because it's just fun, but I don't like to use them for every little bit of a project. I just like to use them sometimes to get started. Like if I'm going to cut up a bunch of blue and I want to see what else might coordinate with it, I might look at my color chart just to go, oh, I'd like to do it in a contrast, or I'd like to do it where it is just a more subtle difference between the two, whether, so anyway. So this one, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I can see that my little card is just a smidge too long. And that comes from because I've cut mine on a very big bar cutter, not on my little trimmer. So being the not so particular person that I am, I'm just going to use some scissors to get rid of that. That did just fine. Okay. And I love to do little sets like this, and I put them in a little box, and I take them downstairs when I'm watching TV, and then I can cut them and put them together real easily while I'm just doing something else, and that's a lot of fun. Okay, so I like that. Now let's see what I can get out of these pretties. Okay, now this is pretty with the little flowers. That's it's got the little flower pots at the bottom. So that would be very pretty, even though this is blue, that's very feminine. So I like that. This is another little flower that I cut off the edge of a paper. It was a 12 by 12 pad that had an edge design, and I don't scrapbook, so a lot of those pages I tear apart and use in different ways because I just don't need them for scrapbooking. So I thought that was pretty. I got several of those. This one is actually pretty. It's just a little too busy for what I'm going for. Those don't match anything, although they're cute, cute, cute. This has a lot of blue and gold. That would be cute too. I'm not going to save that one out because that's not my interest. This I like because it's a high contrast. And then there'd be fun things that you could use to say, just about busy as a bee, or I got a bee in my bonnet and wanted to say hi. So you could do it, that would be fun. That'd be a high contrast. I really like this one too because it's hard to find things for guys sometimes. And this is kind of a pretty one. I kind of like that. A little different. And since I don't have any guy ones, I think I might do that. And then I have, just lots of others that I can play with this stack. So I'm going to see if I've got something in here that would work as a sentiment so I don't have to do anything else. But I have an idea with this one. Let's see if I've got, it's a butterfly. Because I have a set of little paper clips that I think would be fun to add to this. So let me see what I've got here. This was my templates. Okay. Don't really have anything in here, do I? That would really rock my boat with this. That Love the Day was the only one, I guess. Let me look here. I always have all kinds of goodies stashed away. I will cut this down so that you're not having to wait a long time to see this. Okay. Well, then I will need to just make myself a little sentiment, and I can do that pretty easy. Let me get my little box of sentiment ideas. Let's see if any of these are blue enough. Choose Joy's pretty good. And this would be good for someone who was going on a little fishing journey. This would be a fun one for them. So I think I'm going to use that. I like that. Again, these are not intended to take you a lot of time, just something fun. So let me get this little dots. And I could also just take a little piece of cardstock like this one that I had right here. And I could put this down and just say, just say something for the person, cut it down a little more if I want to, and just say something for the person that would inspire them. If it's their birthday, or, just happy fishing, just anything that would apply to what they're doing. But I like this because, again, it's not too girly, and I think that guys might appreciate that. So I'm going to just put this on here and set it aside. That's going to be a bit big maybe, but yeah, I think that's going to be a bit big because as it goes through the mail, if there's any thickness to anything, they want to charge you more, and I don't want to mess with that. Okay, so that's going to go there. All right, so then this is the easy part. I'm going to actually use my little tape. I know that sometimes that stuff doesn't stick super well, so you can use tape, you can use glue. Glue I don't care for a lot because a lot of it ends up causing things to wrinkle, and that drives me crazier than anything unless I'm doing a junk journal. So there, I'm just going to make this work. I got this at scrapbook.com, and honestly, I really like it. Okay, so I'm going to hold this up. I'm going to line it up on the edge there. Try to get it fairly level, although it's not going to be perfect, but that will be fine. Okay, I could dimensionalize this too, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to do this one. Whoop, I keep turning it over the wrong way. I hope your week is going well. We're having a pretty good week here in the house. Busy but crazy, fun stuff that I like. I've spent a couple of days up here just having fun, and I love that. And I wanted to say thank you. I've got 2 more new viewers, and I just am very grateful for that. And I hope that subscribers, and I appreciate that so much. And I hope that you will join in on the community. You can go to the community tab if you go on YouTube itself. And I just hope that more of you will take an opportunity to do that. I would love to be able to interact with you and find out more about your interests and what you would like to do. Okay, one of the things I wanted to show you before I go any further is I have this little fish. It's a shark, actually. This, I shouldn't say shark, is rather. So, but let me get this out. And I just thought this would be kind of cute to put on here if I wanted to. I keep hitting my thing. Okay, let's get you out of here. Sorry, I'm being clumsy here. I gotta go this way. And come on. Well, you know what? I don't need to save this. Let me cut that out. There. Okay, so this would be cute to put a sentiment on. It only goes in one direction, but I could do that on the inside, or I could just put it, like up here, and then put this little jewel on there, like that, and that'd be kind of fun. In fact, I think I'll do that. And then they've got a paper clip. A lot of my handmade cards, one thing I like to do, which may be kind of dorky, but I like to do it, is when I give a handmade card, I like to put a folded white paper on the inside, or other color, and I like to write my sentiment on that. And then that way, if they want to, they can actually reuse the card. So They'd have to get their own envelope, but they'd still be able to do that. Okay, so I could go up, I could go down, I could go a little, I could go past that. I think right there will work. Okay. So there's that little jewel. I kind of think that's cute. Let me get it up here close. Okay, now I could get super fancy with other things. I could put glitter. I could put sponge the edges of this. I could, you know, you can just go wild if you want. Like that would really pop it out if I went and brushed along the edges like with some distress ink. And that'd be really fun. So there's just lots of ways to do it. But this is the super simple, straightforward, you know, nothing fancy, but still personal. And I think that most people would be very happy to get that kind of card, especially if it comes with a gift card on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick thing to show you from what I did last week, where I am on my little, I made a little folder and I showed it to you raw where I had not put anything on it. Let me show you where we are now. I still have a ways to go, but I'm getting, you know, I got some dimensionals on here and a few more on this side, a few more there. I'm going to rough this up a little more. And then that's where I've gotten to so far, just grungy. And I'll keep coming back with it and showing you what I'm doing. And again, I know if you weren't here last week, I've explained before, I don't worry about that these are off, because whenever I get ready to give this to somebody, I'm going to have stuff sticking out the top, and they're never going to see the difference. So I just, if I get it right, I get it right. If I don't get it right, I don't worry about it. So, okay, well, that's kind of it for today. I hope that was a nice, fun little project for you. And I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll give it a try. These are kind of funky. There we go. That's better. Let me do that. Okay. There we go. And one more thing. Sorry, I hope you haven't already turned off your computers. I just got this really cool set of things. And this is from Juli Haymakers, and she is on Etsy. And I'm going to make this little shrinkette design that I purchased from her. Now all the little supplies come with it. She already cuts out the size of your shrinkettes that you need. And I just, I'm really looking forward to this. This is the little mold that I purchased from her as well, so that I can make these rounded. I really, I have had a lot of fun in the past with shrink plastic, and I wanted to play with it again. I wanted to make some earrings, and I also wanted to try to come up with a little class with people where we would get together and make some things that out of this. Now, we won't follow her design, of course, unless they want to buy her kit, which I would certainly encourage them to do. But I just have some ideas of my own of things that I would like to make and do. And so that's what I've got. So I'm going to actually demo this in my next video in order to show you what it's like when you've never used this mold and you get it out and you get the pieces of plastic that she has already pre-cut for you. This is really a cool little set. She's already cut out, I hope you can see those designs. So those are going to pop out, and I'll use them in this little mold, and then I'll demo for you how it worked out, so that you can see the possibilities. And all these people that I demonstrate stuff that they are teaching and that things that they're doing, they don't pay me anything for this. I didn't get a discount on this or anything like that. And I don't fault anybody. I mean, who wouldn't love to have that? I wouldn't fault anybody for taking those, because that's a wonderful side thing on when you're a creator, is sometimes other creators are go, give this a try and tell me what you really think. And that's really fun. But that is not the case for the things I've shown you today. That these are just because I just think they're lovely, and I love to share other makers. And I'll put her information also in my description for this video. And I hope that you'll give her a look on Etsy and just be inspired, if nothing else, because she's really talented and is very productive. Okay, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for your patience with my little funny projects that I do. And I just hope and pray you have a really, really, really good week ahead. And try to turn the news off as much as you can. And I'm trying to say that for myself as well, because, man, I get so distressed. And I'm sure other people do too. But just go be creative. It helps us a lot. You know it does, and so do I. Thank you all. Bye.